How's everybody doing? My name is Kurt Friedrich, and welcome to episode 24 of TNT Stocks. Today's actual date is September 7th of 2025, and the simulated date is December 1st of 2026. Not a whole lot that's happened since the previous video, other than it has, from my perspective, was kind of a rocky week in the stock market. But I will say that our portfolio pretty well hung in there, even though that some of my other simulations did not fare as well. So with all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the criteria and disclaimer, and then dive into the slides and unpack what we have in this video. So criteria, one video per week will simulate 1 month. I will create videos when available at home, not while traveling on Army Reserve duty or vacations. Any week with a missed video will not be considered a simulated month. Each video will simulate loading $100 to the TNT Stocks account. All stocks bought or sold in the simulation are actual companies with their actual end-of-week closing stock prices. Stocks can be sold between episodes. This month we bought 3 stocks at a price range of $5 to $90. So let us see what $100 per video looked like over time. Disclaimer, these videos are for entertainment purposes only. I am not qualified or certified to give professional investment advice. Day trading has high risks involved. Any gain or loss is at a personal risk. Past performances do not guarantee success in future stock purchases. It is highly recommended that you do your own due diligence when it comes to deciding which stock you will purchase. All right, with the criterion disclaimer out of the way, let's go ahead and jump into our portfolio. You see here that I still have our portfolio split in half, mainly because there's so many different line items that if I try to put them all on one slide, it will have them so small it would be difficult to read even if it was on a large monitor. But you'll still see that SBEV still leads the way as the top money loser with a negative of $35 if we sold it at closing on Friday, and an overall percentage loss of 73%. If you look a little bit further below, another SBEV line item we have is closed second at negative $33 and negative 56%. And then even a little bit further behind that is the AGL at negative $31 or negative 79%. So I've talked about this in previous videos that this was from an old method of day trading that I was trying to use to see how well it would do. It did not fare very well, and right now we are just holding on. We're just riding the downturn wave of these stocks as they are. It's not like they can really get much worse than they already are. It's not like we're going to lose a lot more money on them. So eventually they'll come up some, and eventually we will sell them. Still probably going to be at a loss, but we're going to wait till they come up a little bit more before we finally, what I call, cut sling load on them. Excuse me. You see a little bit down below here, we got METC. This is our top money maker. If we had sold that at closing, we would have gained $48, well, basically $49, and it's had an overall gain of 136%. So doing pretty well since we bought this back in July. So July, August, September, yeah, only 2 months, and it's really come up quite a bit. So if you were watching these videos at that time and saw us purchase that stock, you went ahead and got some yourself. Pretty cool deal, but we want it to keep going up, and then eventually when it does come time to sell it, we'll make a decent chunk of change off of it. All right, so with that being said, we'll move forward to the next part of our portfolio. And you see at the top, here's the stock that we did sell. I apologize, but my little recording timer is covering that, so I can't actually see the amount that we sold it at. Well, I do know it. It was just because I know what the gain was. So we did sell it 4 shares at $32.25. And it was an overall gain of $3. So that's the only stock that we did sell during since the previous video, so we did make a little bit of change since the last video. So overall, like I said, the portfolio did hang in there pretty well, even though it was like some of my other simulations did take some big hits over the past week. So moving further down, you'll see these are the 3 stocks that we purchased at closing on Friday. SNREY, Sunrise Communications AG. We bought 1 share at $60.05. Alignment Healthcare Incorporated, we bought 5 shares at $15.86. And then Exogen Incorporated, we bought 9 shares at $9.67. And I believe if we go back to the previous page, yep, here it is. That is also a stock that we have purchased in the past. Excuse me, I had to take a sip of water there. I hope trying to clear the throat a little bit. And you see it's been making some positive gains, and on some of my other metrics it's been moving in the right direction. So we did go ahead and purchase some more of that. So hopefully this stock keeps moving in the right direction, and we can make some money off of the 2 line items that we have for that. And you see overall we have a total of 148 shares in our portfolio, and this is the number that I said we're going to see kind of a negative number. In the last video I talked about it, where we were going to see it move into a negative amount, and basically if we were to have sold everything at closing on Friday, we would have been overall a negative $29.30. But also just looking at some other numbers, since we changed our strategy, we are kind of breaking even. If we were to sell everything from the time that we changed the strategy up, which was August 8th, we pretty much would be breaking even. So that negative $29 is really coming from the old strategy. You know, these negative 33, negative 35, the AGL and SBEV. Those two line items are really what's hurting our portfolio. So again, as they come up, eventually, hopefully sometime in the near future, it will really help improve how our portfolio looks overall. All right, so moving on to the graphs. So you see here, yeah, this was again, I talked about in the last video that I knew this slide was going to move into the negative when we sold. What will happen is we sold SATS, had a massive gain. You know, when we let that go, we couldn't factor in the value of that stock anymore. So this was really probably the biggest. Yeah, you can see it clearly on the graph. This is the biggest move overall. It was about $125 swing from $95 all the way down to negative $29.3. So yeah, not what we want to see, but kind of knew it was coming. And maybe this next over the next this video and the next video, hopefully it'll move back in the right direction and move back onto the right side of that zero number and back into the positive. So yeah, we've gone from $95 down to negative $30 on our over/under. And then moving on, our income. So we did, like I said, when we did sell the LUV, we did make $3 on it. So this slide here, it rose basically from $103 to $106. So not a lot. We did make a little bit over the past since last episode. And of course, our take home, we take home half. Whenever we have a positive sell, we take home half of it, put it basically in our own pocket. So we right now we're sitting at about $106 overall since we began, and that would be closing out November. So we have 1 month left in the year 2026. So it'll be interesting to see how we close out after 2 years of playing the game. Our invested amount, this is pretty much what we have all together from what we purchased at the share, or the shares that we purchased at the price that we purchased it at. And right now we're looking at about $2,085 total invested at the purchasing price. And total amount in our stock TNT stocks account is showing about $2,300.81. I'm sorry, $2,300, $2,381.42. Sorry, I was getting a little twisted on my numbers there. So this slide I'm talking about in previous episodes, it should start curving up. It finally did with that big sell, and then it flattened back out, back where it was before. So it's going to take some big sells to get the curve to start moving, more, the curve to be moving more in a vertical direction, which is what we want to see with this slide. And here's our combined over under income and take home. I kind of nicknamed this our spaghetti graph, showing how all these three are matching together. And again, you see the big movement from the over under going was right up there with the other two, and now it dropped below zero. So hopefully in the next video they all kind of come back together again. And then this one's pretty simple. Basically, the invested in total together, these two over a period of time are always going to be moving in the upward direction. If they move down, that means the stock market is in really big trouble. Probably would be a good indication of saying that it's crashing. I'm not the expert to say it's crashing, but I think this would be a good indication of it. And again, these, like I've said in previous videos, these will pretty much always move parallel together and always moving in the upward direction. And then finally, here's what we have as of now in our portfolio. And really the only difference here is we remove the LUV stock account out of the portfolio amount. You see now we have a total of 144 shares. And if we sold everything on Monday at their current price, we would be at a negative $32.30. So like I said at opening, not a whole lot of movement since the last episode, but as I mentioned, my other portfolios or my other simulations I have that I use to help drive this one in my own personal portfolio, they didn't do very well. My personal one took some hits on it, so I feel like we pretty much stayed flat since the last video. And if the stocks are taking a hit, we at least want to stay flat, and that way when the market starts correcting itself and moving back in the right direction, then we capitalize on it. So with that being said, we'll wrap this video up. I hope that you all did enjoy watching this video and got something out of it. I enjoy talking about stocks and day trading. So yeah, I hope you get some useful information out of it. I hope that you, if you purchase any of these stocks that you're seeing on here, I hope that they are stocks that you're able to capitalize on. So with that being said, good stocks hunting. Don't forget to comment, rate, share, subscribe, all the above, and we'll see you on the next episode. Until then, take it easy.